guys, earlier this week I got a message about travel cameras. What is the best camera for my family to take on a holiday? So in this video I'm going to review the Canon G7X because I honestly think this is the best travel camera and I'm going to tell you why. If you do find any interest in this, well then why not think about turning post notifications on? You can check these videos every week. Alright, let's get stuck into it. My top 5 reasons for getting the camera are the following. Size, it's user friendly. Autofocus, Wi-Fi, and price. The most annoying thing is when you buy a DSLR camera, especially if you're new to photography, is not having it on you. You know, you'll have this amazing expensive camera and it's in your bag and you go off on a little trip and you just don't take it with you because it's not the first thing that comes to your mind. I think it's important to have something which is really small, really compact, which you can just take with you. That is probably the biggest pro about this specific camera. They're right there! Oh! You are joking! For the filmmakers out there that have done their research and are more interested in having like a compact travel camera, which they can also capture film with, I would probably recommend the Sony RX100. I gave this vlogging camera, this is a Sony RX100 IV. I gave this camera to Kaylee a while ago when she started, when I introduced her to the world of the internet. Now I have the Sony RX100 IV and I've really enjoyed shooting with it. You can shoot a much higher frame rate on that. You know, you can shoot a lot more flatter profiles. Canon has a specific color which they like to put in the camera. For those people that don't like doing any post-production and don't really want to dive into color grading, then yeah, stick with something like Canon because it's nice and ripe, you look great straight out of camera. You just plug it in and bam, away you go. I guess when you weigh up price point, the Canon is also a lot cheaper. I got this for $700 from JB Hi-Fi. I think when I bought my RX100 it was $1,200. They've now got an RX100 Mark VI, which I'd probably recommend looking into, but it comes at $1,600, which is double the price of the Canon G7X. So something to weigh up, something to think about. My intentions with buying this camera were for vlogs, were for making content that I didn't really have to think too much or try too hard to create, and I think that is the beauty of these cameras. For you guys that are going on holidays and want to go and capture some cool stuff, you want point and shoots as opposed to DSLRs. You don't want to be worrying about aperture and frame rates and shutter speed. You don't want to worry about that stuff. So grab one of these, turn it on, look at the subject, and take the photo. Autofocus on this camera has actually improved a lot. I originally started with the Canon S120 and you know, since that camera was around and now this one's out, you know, the camera has improved so much. A few tips for getting started when you're on the movie function is to hit the Q button and check out how your camera is set up. If you want to shoot a higher frame rate and you want to slow some of your footage down and make some cool montages or shoot some great B-roll, then I highly recommend shooting in 50 frames per second. It's very simple to do that. You just click over on the frame rate and at the bottom you can either select FHD 25 frames per second, or you can go to the very end, which is 50 frames a second. I also really like this camera because they do dumb it down for you. You know, if I hit the RAW button straight away, it says to me, image type for advanced adjustment on a computer. If you are interested in photography again and you want to shoot raw stills, then, and you want to go and do some post-production, then you can choose that, but otherwise just use JPEG. When you put the SD card into your computer and you go to edit the photos, you're not going to be able to access them if you don't have a program like Lightroom. Straight up, I just recommend using the highest quality JPEG, which is the L with the full thing, with the full sort of thing. A really good example of one of the high quality stills that I've taken on this camera, which just so happened to be one of my favorite stills from the Hawaii shoot. We're at the top of the Haleakala Volcano National Park and you know, I just found this really great frame and I gave the camera to a friend who I was traveling with and said, hey, can you put it in portrait and do you reckon you'd be able to shoot me standing over on the rock? It was a little underexposed, but when I put it into Lightroom and I edited it, it came out to be one of my favorite images. Surprisingly, I found the Wi-Fi functionality really helpful. When I was over in Hawaii shooting that epic film, if you haven't seen that, I'll link it in the description, but when I was over shooting that film, I was at the Volcanoes National Park and there was this crazy eruption. And for some reason, I just had this camera on me, I shot the video footage and straight away I wanted to upload it to Twitter because news was breaking about Kilauea erupting. And I thought, you know what, there's probably going to be some news people that are going to jump on this and maybe want to share it. That being said, I switched on the Wi-Fi functionality, had downloaded the Canon app already onto my smartphone and transferred the video file straight over to my phone. I uploaded a 9-10 second video to Twitter, also to my Instagram, and within a couple of hours I had like news publications asking me for the footage, which is crazy, you know. So I did actually find the Wi-Fi capability helpful. I don't use that on like DSLRs, or I don't really use that on any other bigger cameras, but but for this, it was really helpful. I guess it's really cool being able to explore the ideas of, you know, stepping up from just pointing and shooting, you know, having this little ring on the outside here to change your exposure. If you are shooting video and it's a little bit overexposed, you might be able to bring it up a stop and, you know, brighten up your image. Just those little features which kind of make the camera more enjoyable to play around with, as opposed to just being like, yeah, cool, you know. And in the end of the day, if you are looking to becoming or looking at exploring the idea of photography and filmmaking, then yeah, it's a great place to start. When comparing the time-lapsing capabilities on the G7X Mark II to the Sony RX100, the G7X outweighs the time-lapsing feature by tenfold. When you have the Sony RX100, you have to manually go into a time-lapsing app to access the time-lapsing feature. That is a really slow and convoluted process, and it really pisses me off. But this, it's the most seamless time-lapsing app. The major difference is that the Sony allows you to keep the stills from the time-lapse, whereas this one doesn't. You set the camera up, choose time-lapse, and away you go. That for me was a big plus. I don't want to mess around with getting into the app. I just wanted to shoot the time-lapse. I wanted to set it up on the tripod and hit record. Just in summary, I found the G7X to be an amazing point-and-shoot compact camera. You know, it's not the most professional piece of equipment as a filmmaker, but at the end of the day, if you invest your time and learn how to edit, you can really make some amazing stuff with very little money. If you have liked this video or you found some interest in, you know, these kind of reviews, do drop me a comment below and let me know what other stuff you'd like to learn. If there's more editing tips I can share with you, I'd love to help out. If you're new around here, make sure you turn on post notifications and subscribe to the channel. Chuck this video a thumbs up, drop me a comment with your thoughts and feelings, and I will see you guys in another upload. Yeah.